Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sailed into the mystic.
This is live.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, we're here at Mystic Ways Brewing with Joe, and I'm going to make sure I do it right, Winiarski.
Very good. Perfect.
Okay.
First
In
time.
Perkasie,
That
Pennsylvania.
was
Perkasie, PA. Thanks, Joe, for hosting this.
Thank you for having me today. Appreciate it.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about your background,
Okay.
how you got into craft beer, either drinking, brewing, or all the above.
Okay. I guess we'll do all the above, and yeah. So for me, craft beer was kind of like a gradual thing. The first thing is that I think my first venture into kind of craft beer was Lion's Head years ago. It was kind of a Yingling substitute for a lot of me and my friends and I. Sorry, down where we would hang out all the time. So for me, I guess that was kind of like a proto craft beer. I don't know if it's really a craft beer or not. I guess it is. But we called them microbrews at the time. I don't think the term craft beer was even around. So that was the first thing. I think my first aha moment where I realized that there was a separate scene from the macro brews was when I had, it was either Anchor Liberty Ale or one of their summer ales. Whatever it was they and it was beautiful. And I remember the first time I drank it, I was playing in a band at the time, and I was at a band practice, and they gave me it, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? What am I drinking? Yeah. So I think that was my first one. And from there, I guess I kind of ventured down the rabbit hole, and haven't looked back since. So that's as far as me drinking craft beer. As far as me brewing, for years, I'd always hang out with friends, and we'd always be like, oh, we should try brewing beer sometime, And it didn't really happen until my mom and my sister bought me a little Mr. Beer kit for Christmas. And with hobbies, I usually go head first in, and I wasn't happy with the Mr. Beer kit. No offense, Mr. Beer, but it was probably the way I did it. But then I just went up buying my own extract kits, all grain. I went from there, and here I am today.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So what led to starting Mystic Ways then? I know you were brewing at Red Lion.
Red Lion Brewery. It was something my family and I were always talking about for a while. And we just kind of were in a good spot where we could all do it. We were all in the process of moving, all in the process of, changing careers and stuff. So it was kind of like the perfect moment where I'd say, I forget how many years ago, we all were just like, all right, let's try this,
Right.
So, and
One thing leads to another.
in the beginning, when you're opening up a brewery, at least for us, and I'm sure it's like this with a lot of different places, where you don't know much about anything besides the beer, and you learn very quickly. And you'll learn because a lot of people will ask you questions you either never have heard of, or or whatever, and you just kind of learn and figure out how you're going to make it work, and you come up with a business plan, and here we are.
Yeah, a friend of mine once said, you start out, you don't know what you don't know, then you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
That there's more out there.
I still feel like I don't know.
I think all of us are.
That's okay at this
Yeah.
point, I think, right?
Yeah,
That's all the fun is you get to learn it as you go along.
exactly.
So I understand in getting ready for your grand opening, you were brewing for a while.
Yeah. Oh, for a long while. So yeah, I still brew at Red Lion Brewery. They're just two different places. I'd say Red Lion Brewery is more, so it's at McCool's, at the historic Red Lion in Quakertown. We're the in-house brewery there. I'd say a lot of that beer is more focused towards the food. We do a lot of lagers there. We do a lot of IPAs. Those are, I'd say, they're the fastest going beers there. So that's really what's focused over there. Over here at Mystic Ways, it's more about the whole entire menu, doing every single brew. Stouts and sours don't go as fast there, but they go pretty fast here. Our sour, I'd say either the two beers that we have up now, the Cosmic Soul, which is a New England IPA, or hazy IPA, whatever you prefer. Then we have a sour, a fruited sour called Pretty Goza. And
we tried that last
oh,
Sunday.
cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it was very good.
Thank you very much. So I'd say those are two fastest selling beers, I'd say, over the past couple of weeks since we've been open. So they're just two different establishments to answer the question. And yeah, so I approached them completely differently.
How did you come up with the name Mystic Ways?
My family and I came up with it. It was, it's funny because last night there was a couple sitting at the bar and they heard a story. Oh, we heard the story how you came up with Mystic Ways, how there was a ghost where you were working and you thought Mystic would be cool, which is a really cool story. I wish that was a story. And I'll probably tell people that story, actually, since they see this, they probably know I'm BSing. So, but it was just a name that we all came up with. We knew we wanted Mystic in there because it kind of, I guess it was kind of similar to my brewing style, if you want to describe my brewing style, especially because we're going to be delving into a lot of experimental beers. And then Ways was just kind of added on to there because we thought it sounded cool. And then we just kind of ran with it.
Talk a little bit about that. That was
Sure.
really leading into my next question.
Okay.
Where do you see Mystic Ways going? But I love what you started with, the 10 beers. It's across a number of different styles. I love the Cosmic Soul. We both did.
Cool.
And that last
Thank you.
Sunday, my son and his friend, 4 of us were here. Where do you see going from here? You talked about experimental.
Yeah, so we divide our taps into sections. We have the popular beers, we have the traditional beers, experimental beers, which I'll get into, and then we have a side pouring tap from the Czech Republic. So what I want to do eventually with Mystic Ways is make the next New England IPA, make the next West Coast IPA. I want to make a new style. So that's kind of where experimental beers goes to. I don't have any of the experimental beers on for the opening, just to kind of get people used to us, but I have lots of ideas up here that I've already played around with, and I think it'll be pretty cool for the future. I don't want to give too much away, because I have some secrets, but I've got some pretty cool ideas that I've messed around with, and I think should go over pretty well.
Great.
Yeah.
Now is that, again, don't give it
all good.
away secrets, but
It's all right.
Is it more process related or types of hop related?
Everything, I'd say.
Okay.
Not purposely being vague, but I guess a lot of my process is involved in that. A lot of it has to do with blending styles and just seeing what works. Yeah. So that's
a lot of creativity
yeah.
here.
So I'd say probably over the next month or two, you'll start seeing them come out more and more.
Were you able to get a hold of experimental hops to use?
I'll tell you what. For our opening, I used a new hop that I was really excited to use. That I was trying to get a hold of for a while. It's hard to get, but in our beer Hop Me, which I'm drinking right now, there's a hop in there called Nectaron. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it's a really awesome hop. It's basically, to me, it's what Galaxy was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, where it's like a really magical hop. And
Right.
so I paired it with Citra, and I really love this beer. And I put minimal hops in it, but for me, it's super pungent. It's very.
I remember I had a little bit of a malty background. I had it
I'd say so.
last week.
Yeah, for me, it's drinking it now. Like I definitely get like a lot of. I get some tropical fruit on the nose.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cool.
So
anyway, there's just some of the hops I play with.
Right. Do you find it hard to get hops of any kind? I know there for a while it was tough getting some hops.
Yeah, the popular varieties. It's not as bad as it was, I'd say, like a year or two ago. Especially because there was this whole thing with Galaxy hops where everybody was afraid that they were going to be super hard to get.
Right.
Now I would say they're fairly easy to get. It's you're paying a little bit more,
Right.
with
There's only a
everything
few
with
big producers out there.
Yeah, with supply chains, I'm sure it's made everything worse. But yeah, besides the price, I don't have any trouble getting the hops that I want these days.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
What you got?
do you want to talk about some of your beers, particularly the
Sure.
Cosmic Soul?
Sure. All right. So we have Cosmic Soul.
We know a lot of IPA drinkers, and when we had this this is up there with some of the best. What were some of the comments, David, do you remember, from Ryan and his friend? Did we say something about where we would put this beer in terms of?
Well, I don't know. I called. I think I even said this to you. I thought this was your flagship. Or
Okay.
would be your flagship. That's just my personal opinion.
That's
though,
cool.
But,
It's a really good beer. For
Yeah,
what,
it's very,
not,
very.
not to knock anybody's
chummy, very
flagship
fun.
beer, but outstanding.
Yeah, I
It
think,
really is.
I know he mentioned Treehouse and some of those too. So,
Yeah.
If that brings people in, and then you have all the rest of everything you're doing, the experimental stuff that's going to be coming out,
Yeah.
you should have no problem bringing people in just for this alone.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment, first off, especially comparing us to one of the Mecca breweries. you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Cosmic Soul was kind of an afterthought. I didn't even consider making it a flagship, which I still don't know if it's going to be, but what I can tell you right now is after everybody's response and how quickly it was going, we're definitely canning it if there's any left within this next week. This weekend.
Sign us up.
You got it. Yeah. So we'll be doing cans of that, and if it does, and if we don't, if for some reason it does kick, I will be brewing it again. A lot of breweries have been using a product called Phantasm in their mash. So it's basically a powderized wineskin of Sauvignon Blanc grapes. Talking about supply chains, what we talked about earlier, and
Right.
hard to get ingredients. I could not get Phantasm. So instead of using Phantasm, which is Sauvignon Blanc, there's a shop in the Finger Lakes in New York that sells a powderized Riesling wineskin, and the product looks the same because I have Phantasm now, which I'm going to do in the next beer. But the Riesling one looks exactly the same. It smells amazing when you open it. So I use that instead of Phantasm in the mash. So that might be the secret to this beer, Cosmic Soul. And that's okay. It's pretty cool. I thought it was a fun thing. We hopped that beer with Citra, I think Motueka hops and Nelson Salvin hops. Those are some of my favorites, especially the Nelson. Nelson hops the past 2 years have been just killer.
Yeah.
You know, I've always liked that hop, but I'd say it's probably
Sign us up. We like that too.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a nice, clean, fresh taste or
it's just
finish
very
to it.
wine-like. For
Yeah.
me.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Like for now, yeah. See,
And that's a New Zealand hop, correct?
it's a New Zealand hop. You got it. Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of that hop. What I would like to do in the next beer is use that hop and probably Nectaron in a beer. I think that's going to be really killer. Pardon me, sorry. Burps, edit that.
That's acceptable when you drink beer.
You don't have to edit that out. Yeah, I forget the question now.
Where you're heading with some of the experimental.
So anyway, yeah. So where I'm heading is definitely a lot of hoppy experimental. I do like hops. I have a certain process where I'm this close to nailing down, but I'm getting a lot of good flavors from the way I hop beers, which I know most people aren't doing. And I gotta try one more thing, and I think I'm pretty close to there. But I tried a beer last night that I brewed last night, and yeah, it's pretty close.
Great.
That's all I gotta say.
When will that be
And once I
ready?
get that down, then the floodgates open.
We'll be making regular trips
Yeah,
down
let's
here.
know
Cool.
what day that comes out.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, good. Your stouts. I see you have the one stout. We've had that. It was really good.
Super duper massive black hole.
Yeah.
Give it some press there. Huh?
Yeah.
Do you
Here, let's pour it. so
see
the
yourself
crowd can see it.
making more stouts or getting into the stouts? Is that one thing that you? I mean, consumers might demand that, but that's something you like to do.
The short answer is hell yes.
My
I
wife
love
will be glad to
stouts
hear
even
that.
before I hated IPAs for the longest time. Before New England's came out, I hated IPAs. I just wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of the bitterness. My body didn't undergo the lupulin shift as some people talk about. But now I love IPAs. I love West Coast too. Now I just love everything. But back when I was home brewing, all I would brew were porters and stouts mostly.
Okay.
That's all I drank in craft beer for the longest time.
Really?
Like a majority of my drinking was just stouts and porters. And when I was a home brewer, I think my best beers that I've ever brewed were stouts and porters. So since I've been brewing at Red Line, it's been harder to brew them because they don't move as quick. But yeah, recently I started brewing them again, and I've rediscovered my love for brewing stouts. And I'd say the super duper massive Black Hole is definitely, for not brewing them for a while, I'm very happy with the outcome.
Good. Yeah, it was really tasty.
So, oh, do I have to move?
Just hold it up so you.
Oh, okay.
We ought to see that.
This way? Oh,
Just-
I'll hold it up. Okay, sorry. Here we go. Let's see. I'll hold it up.
Yeah.
Super duper. It's pretty dark. We added dulce de leche to this, which is basically like a caramelized milk.
Yeah.
It's really it's got like some marshmallow notes to me or
I
something.
think that was
That's what we said. I think
Yeah.
the word we
mentioned
used
we
was
were
marshmallow.
the marshmallow.
When we were standing on
very
the
present.
I get a lot of the breadiness, almost like a graham cracker. I don't want to call it a s'more stout because it doesn't taste like s'mores to me, but
No.
I do get something like that honey-like character. A friend of mine said he tasted a berry. I get that sweetness from like a date or something like that. I think I put in the
You
description.
did put, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do love this beer. Yeah.
Right
I
now-
love stouts. Yeah, a
There's-
lot of my experimental beers revolve around stouts.
That's
Really?
good to know.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
fall and
Yeah,
winter
not
coming up.
not pastry, not pastry,
Yeah.
not adding that stuff. It's pretty, yeah.
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 Yeah, those tend to get a little too sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I could drink about that
Yeah.
much of
Yeah.
really sweet.
Yeah, I'd say so. For me, 8 ounces of this would definitely put me in a very happy mood.
I think it did for us. Too.
Yeah.
Now I saw a beer last week when we came here that was had a little bit of a purple hue to it.
Okay.
Talk about that one.
So that
It was a
beer,
lager, I believe.
you got it. So that beer is called Cosmic Soul. Not Cosmic Soul. We just talked about Cosmic Soul. It's funny about that beer that you're talking about because I couldn't come up with a name for it, but I'll tell you about it, then I'll tell you about the name.
Okay.
That beer is called, well, wait, I was just going to tell you, I'm going to tell the name after. I'm about to tell you the name. Sorry, please edit that out.
It's all right, we're
If you don't,
enjoying
it'll
it
be
now.
probably funny and everybody will probably laugh at me. It's okay. So that beer is, it's an American light lager. I'm going to pour it so the audience can see in 2 seconds. Hold on. It's an American light lager, but one of my favorite bar beers, if I'm going to a bar and it's a typical menu of the macro brews, my go-to is Miller Lite. Miller Lite. I didn't like it for years. I think after I started beer judging, I really started to like Miller Lite. Because when you actually sit down and analyze the macro brews, they're all really good beers. You know, I think people just, you know, there must be some stigma with the
Well,
macro beers
there is.
and
Miller Lite, I think, started the
yeah,
whole movement.
which is for me like taking that aside, like when I just sit down and blind taste test them, they're all really good beers. Like for me, Budweiser is very sake like because of the rice they use. So like, I remember after I was beer judging, I don't beer judge much these days. I really just did it so that way I could get my palate better for brewing. I will judge eventually, but when I was tasting them, I was like, wow, it reminds me of sake, but I really love this beer. You know, and you feel kind of weird as a craft beer drinker, but you shouldn't because they're all good beers and they define styles. So this beer right here uses, and Miller Lite uses yellow corn. We didn't use yellow corn on this, we used purple corn. And I don't know if the camera's bringing that through really well.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is Mystic Light. Instead of using yellow corn, it uses purple corn.
Does it
And so-
use corn as well?
I'm sorry?
Does it Yunlin use corn as well?
They might, I don't
I
know.
thought somewhere I read that they do.
They probably do, which is cool. I love corn in beers.
I do too.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I have to admit, I drink Miller Lite on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like it.
It's good, easy drinking beer and it's sessionable.
Yeah.
So the purple corn was really interesting. I'm still trying to nail down, pardon me. I'm still trying to nail down the,
Choked up over that beer.
yeah, right? Oh my God, this beer is just so amazing. Somebody described it last night as like cranberry, which I think was a good description that I was trying to get out when I was doing the description for this beer. That's almost what it tastes like. It has a little bit of a, like a really dry aftertaste, which could be the way I brewed it, but the flavor of the purple corn is really unique.
Someone
So,
mentioned raspberry last week too, so that.
and people have ordered, I'd say people have ordered a surprising amount of this beer. which makes me want to brew it more. I think next time we brew it, we're going to try blue corn instead of the purple corn, just for fun. There's some technical difficulties about this beer, just because when you get the ingredient, the purple corn, it just comes as corn. It's not gelatinized, which a lot of ingredients come as, so that way it's easier to brew with. So you have to do that process. So I'd say, yeah, it's a little bit of an extra step, but it might be more fun. We'll see.
I know the gentleman, there was a gentleman sitting next to us on last Sunday drinking that. He said that's one of the best lagers he's ever had.
Cool. Yeah,
That's all he drinks, lagers, so he was somewhat of a lager expert.
It's got a really, for me, it's got like I guess the aftertaste is, it's very fleeting. Like the aftertaste, it's there, it's pretty strong, then it's just gone, which I really like about that. So I think that's kind of what makes it really drinkable, because for me, it leaves me wanting more. You know?
Did you try that one?
I don't know that I got a chance to try that one,
Yeah.
but absolutely.
I think that was a cue.
There you go.
Oh,
These are this week. It's all good. Would you like some, Jeff?
Sure, just
Okay.
It's interesting because since you mentioned before, you know, your foray into
Exactly, very
IPAs, when I started
true.
drinking IPAs, I had a more difficult time drinking lagers. They seem to be at opposite ends of the spectrum. So
Yeah.
and similarly, I can't say that word. You know, I drink a lot of New England style IPAs. I don't want to lose what took a while to acquire with like the West Coast IPAs, because there are some, you know, like Pliny the
Clean,
Elder
fresh finish.
and some of those that, you know, the real West Coast bitter.
Yeah.
I still like them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drink a steady diet of them, but I really like them.
Yeah, it was get the fruit forward and then a really clean,
Yeah.
quick
Oh, that's
aftertaste.
good.
Not even after, just a quick finish on it.
Yeah.
Clean finish.
And then it's gone. You never knew it was there.
Yeah, absolutely tastes like a real one.
It's clean. It almost, no, I
Yeah.
was going to say it tastes colder than what it probably is, just because it's kind of that refreshing finish.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe
And I
it.
wouldn't call it lawnmower beer because that has a different connotation.
Yeah.
But I would definitely drink it after cutting the grass.
For me, lawnmower kind of stays on the palate a little bit more than this, you know? And that's what helps me, because every single time I'd cut my lawn, I'd be drinking a beer. So for lawnmower beers, I started out with in Chamonix Creek's Croydon Cream Ale, which I used to live right around the corner from in Croydon. So that beer was just perfect for me in every single aspect. But yeah, then I do all different beers for lawnmower
Mine
beers.
was Anderson Valley Summer Solstice.
Oh, cool.
That was
That's
my
awesome.
lawnmower beer
Yeah.
for a while.
60 minute from Dogfish
3 or 4 of
Head,
them.
That was my go-to all the time, 60 minute.
Oh, yeah, I
It
love
was
60
refreshing,
minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really where I got my start, 60 minute.
It's kind of funny, especially talking about the West Coast styles, because I would really love to try them at the breweries
Yeah.
to see how they are.
Fresh from the can.
Yeah, fresh from the breweries, because I think for some reason my palate with a lot of bottled IPAs, especially back in the day when I told you I didn't like IPAs, I think probably part of that was really because a lot of the hops fell off. So they those
Right.
beers probably didn't really get good justice like they should have.
Right. And a lot of the newer hops too, they just didn't know how to use them and
Exactly.
how to make
Yeah,
things with it.
because that's kind of when
They didn't know the profile enough.
yeah.
You want them to be big and bold, and if they're not fresh,
Yeah.
you know, I know there are people that say if you don't drink a beer within a month of when it was brewed, you've
Yeah.
already lost a good
For
portion. of it.
for an IPA, I guess
Yeah.
they say that. So.
It's weird because it's always different with every brewery with that. So, for instance, I've had some good beers from Monkish, who make excellent New England IPAs, and they were probably at least 3 months old, and I felt like some of them were at their peak then, especially with Treehouse, you know?
It's almost,
all different.
It's almost like the stouts. You know, I like to get maybe at least 6 bottles of a good stout, and then if I drink one right away, sometimes I don't, but if I do, then wait like a year, have one, and every time, you know, whether it's 6 months apart, a year apart, it's like drinking a different beer.
Yeah.
A variation of, you know, what.
Yeah, some things just age well, and some
Yeah.
aren't really meant
And
to
so,
age all that
I think
long.
you saying the word stout made me want to drink the stout. It was like some subconscious thing.
But I think, you know, similarly, I think with the IPAs, there's some people that the aroma is just too much.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're just getting into IPAs.
Oh, yeah.
The
And
bitterness.
we're gonna eventually do some videos on talking about an IPA. Is it, you know, an IPA, and is it IPA, is it an IPA? There's so many variations.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
they
some people
continue.
just, you know, whether it's just getting introduced or to IPAs or not, don't want that in your face. That's
Yeah.
just too much for them.
Well, it's funny because for us, I would say it's probably a really pleasant thing. And I had some old coworkers of mine who stopped up at Red Lion. I was super proud of this IPA. I was like, oh my God, you gotta try this aroma. So amazing. And the guy who tried it was like, his instant reaction was like, and I was like, what? You kidding me? That's amazing.
I do have a sours.
But yeah, so I guess he wasn't used to hops, you know?
Right.
But once you become used to them, it's like, oh, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
because there's so many, like Mosaic, there's just so many different
Yeah.
profiles and ways to describe it, ways to taste it.
Especially Mosaic. I've refound my love for Mosaic. Let me get that for 2 seconds.
Sure.
Cool, sorry guys.
That's all right. We'll just. Well,
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
No, I don't.
You good?
No.
Get a UPS delivery.
Sorry. Yeah, but sorry, I'll pick up where I left off there with Mosaic. Let's see, am I in the right spot? Here we go.
There you go.
I'm trying to get used to where I'm.
Yeah, that's
It's opposite. There we are. Okay,
There we
cool. So yeah, like Mosaic, I've refound my love for Mosaic. That hop has changed so much throughout the years.
yeah.
I recently just brewed a recipe that I brewed when I was a home brewer, and I haven't brewed it in years. And I'd say the old descriptions of Mosaic being blueberry is pretty accurate, because that's what that beer tasted like back then. It was an IPA, it was a New England IPA, and I love the recipe, so I brewed the same exact recipe probably like 2 weeks ago, and I just dry hopped it, and then I retasted it, and now it's probably more of, I'd say it's probably more of the pineapple flavor that it kind of gets. So it's definitely a hop that changes, I'm sure, lot through lot, but
Yeah.
I still love it all the same.
That's, yeah, I just saw something on that. The guy who actually came out with that and said they didn't know what the name was
Yeah.
until they got all these different profiles, and they just came up with Mosaic because
Mosaic.
it is just a bunch of different flavors and profiles.
Yeah, so whoever
Aromas.
came up with that name,
Very
kudos.
fitting.
Yeah, Pearl, the guy's name is Pearl
Yeah.
or something. Well, tell us now about your West Walnut.
West Walnut Wallop.
Your Pilsner.
So West Walnut Wallop is a simple Czech-style Pilsner. I would say it's a little bit modeled after Pilsner Urquell. I don't know if I'm saying that right, sorry.
Exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so, but I made it a little, sorry, I keep on moving.
No.
No, we're trying to
We just
just
say,
get,
I
get
can
the-
zoom in on those then.
Okay, cool.
We'll
I'll
zoom in.
pour it. Do you want me to pour it?
We'll zoom in on it later.
Yeah,
It's-
sure. I'd
It's
like
just
to taste it,
slightly.
actually. I didn't get a chance
Okay,
to
cool.
taste it.
So, here, I'll give you guys some. So, I made it a little bit less bitter to make it a little more palatable. Just a little bit, little bit.
Right.
Here, I'll pour
And
you
that's
guys
the
some.
side,
That's the side.
pull.
Side, so this is out of our side pouring tap. We do the quote-unquote milk pours here, so where it's all foam. But these side pouring milk pours or whatever are getting a lot of, criticism in the craft brewery scene because it's a lot of foam. But what a lot of people who haven't tried them don't realize is the foam on these beers is super dense. It's not like your regular beer foam.
Right.
I'll pour one right now so you can see. I'll give you guys milk pours too.
Yeah, you got it.
So we got these big tall glasses.
You can't see
These
through
are all
that at
for
all. It's just-
milk
yeah.
pours, yeah. But you'll see that if you open that up a little bit, it's all foam. But the foam is just super duper dense. It's just so dense here.
It's not like
Here's
it's
milk
not
pour
beer.
for you. I'll show the camera too. And then milk pour here.
Wow.
They're super fun beers. So in the
Yeah.
Czech Republic, they use these to top off at the end of the night. You only wind up drinking a little bit of beer, but it's like a nice way to end the night. And
Right.
there you go. Here, I'll show the camera. So it's just all foam. We pour them in these big glasses. It's kind of cool. Hope I'm not getting. Okay,
Oh,
good.
you're good.
Good. I thought I was getting beer on your laptop. So yeah, you're just meant to drink the foam, and it's kind of a fun thing, especially because we're not used to that here. So, but it's inside of a good beer.
Absolutely.
Or
I love a
clean
good
beer, I should
pilsner.
say.
A good
Yeah, well, that's-
pilsner, that's
Just like I said with the West
fresh,
Coast
it's clean.
IPAs,
Yeah.
I really want.
You know, so it's kind of cool.
oh, it is.
They had this painted for us, so we're trying.
Really?
To,
That's
we're trying to
amazing.
figure out where we're going to hang this.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of a nice thing from Argentina. We just got. We're putting it there right now until we have a home for it. But yeah. So this is the brewery. I did everything down here. We serve out of all of our tanks.
Okay. Now, do you see yourself? Hopefully, I guess you know, growing, getting bigger, getting more.
So this system pretty much accounts for that. Yes.
Okay.
We'll eventually just be all these big guys. These little ones will go eventually once we get bigger.
Uh huh.
So that's kind of our first plan in upgrading.
Okay.
These are just really here for variety right now.
So this will buy you time.
You got it.
To get there,
Yeah,
okay,
We'll see how
okay.
things go.
Right.
But eventually we'll just upgrade to all of these big tanks. Beyond that, I don't really have any vision right now for upgrading. I would like to keep it the tap room style. That's kind of what our business plan revolves around, and I kind of like having a tap room.
Yeah.
Not production side brewery.
Okay.
So we'll do some canning here. We'll have to-go stuff for people. But I just want to keep it so it's very small and the flavor doesn't change. Because I feel like when breweries get bigger, I'm not going to mention any names, they
Right.
lose a lot of their flavor and a lot of their quality, which I understand why they do it.
Because it gets
Sorry.
more into logistics of things and not so
Yeah.
much just brewing and
I
making
understand why
it.
they do it, but I
Right.
don't know. I just don't, maybe I'll change. but
Yeah.
I just don't have the heart for that right now.
Imprint?
Maybe I'll plug them.
I would definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely reach out.
Cool.
All I could do is say no.
Yeah.
We're full.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the worst thing?
Nothing ventured, nothing lost.
That's cool. Awesome.
Joe,
Jeff, thanks.
really
man.
appreciate it.
Cool.
I appreciate your hospitality.
Thank you.
We're helping you. You're
Yeah,
helping
you're
us.
definitely helping us, so thank you.
Well,
Let's hope so.
we changed.